Alright, here we go. Mic check. Is this working? Hello? Yeah, that's... Okay. We're live. Okay, where did I leave off? Yesterday I was working on the drummer for a bit. Yes, I logged off, took a nap, got back to working on him a bit, and then I packaged up a build, and sent it off to my friend. So other than that, not too much has changed, I don't think. Let's see here. Here is the current state of the drummer. I think I changed I got rid of the brim for the hat. I just didn't like it being a circle. I didn't feel like it fit the character. I started doing some of the outline work. I don't have a ton of time today, so I'm probably just gonna keep working on this and get this to a slightly more finished state, and then I gotta take off in like 2.5 hours. So yeah, I think we'll push on him a bit more. I don't know. I'm still not in love with him. Like, I don't think he reads well from this angle. I don't think it's visually that interesting. Maybe I don't know. Would it really mess up everything if I took the top of the drum and kind of shrunk it down a bit? Like, does a drum have to be perfect cylinder? We're kind of taking a lot of liberties here. This isn't exactly... I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. Definitely need to start outlining this just to get it all to look right. Let's start with the stand and then we'll get a little more creative. Again, I didn't shut down last night, so I don't know how bad that is for your computer, but at least I'm ready to go. Logging up Perforce. Let's just try it. Like, maybe it's fine. What did I just do? No. Whatever, it's saved. Just do it. Hey, Amar. What's up, man? Omarilo? Sorry, I'm butchering your name. Hey, Oliver. Holy shit, man. Long time no see. How's, I don't know, life? Holy crap. Dude, Gazillion shut down. Yeah, I remember you, man. We're friends on Facebook. Yeah, you've been gone forever, though, right? Like, you left, uh... You were in Virginia for a while? Aren't you, like, married now with kids and shit? It's been years. Rockville. So, yeah, Virginia, right? I don't know where Rockville is. Maryland. Cool. Shit, so you're out, like, Bethesda? Did you leave the industry? Did you get the hell out? All the getting was good? ZeniMax. Okay, so still kicking. Good on you, man. Yeah, I know. It's like a sickness. I don't know, programmers escape a lot. Programmers tend to get the hell out. I think that's because most places treat their programmers like the help. And they are the most expensive people on the team. It's a weird reality in this industry. Yeah. Oh shit, dude. How's, I don't know, life? This is not a good idea. Yeah, I'm still in Boston. I went down with a ship at Irrational. It was a blast the whole way down. And then I started a small company. We actually successfully shipped a product. I'm pretty happy. Like, we launched The Flame in the Flood about a little over 2 years ago. It went super well. Working on our next title now. We're trying to get it funded. This is not that. This is my personal project. I'm glad you liked it. For the longest time, I always introduced myself as I was an animator that worked on Bioshock, and I can finally start saying, like, now that it's been out for a while and enough people played it, I did all the animation in The Flame in the Flood. I founded the studio that made The Flame in the Flood. That's my studio. Because for a while, I was just like, nobody has ever fucking heard of the Molasses Flood. People were like, who are you? Goodbye. ZeniMax. What is ZeniMax working on now? Yeah, I remember. You're always really good at keeping in touch, Oliver. That's cool. Maryland is such a... I mean, Firaxis is there, Bethesda's there. You guys are all really spread out though, right? Like, you never hang out with people from other studios? I know my buddies at Firaxis, like, don't hang out with anybody. Seems like a good place if you just want to, like, have kids and a family and also have a stable job and also be in the games industry. It's a good work-life balance for a lot of people. Oh yeah, I guess Bethesda's part of the same company. Yeah, the visa thing. I could go on a whole rant about immigration in this country. It's absurd. Makes me fucking mental. The worst part is just how quickly they're like, oh, you don't have a job? Get the fuck out. Come back when you have a job. It's like, Jesus Christ. 30 days, get a job. Most of the people that are coming to America because they're specialists in some field and they're not going to get another job as a specialist within 30 days. Nothing moves that quickly, especially in our industry. Man, we're a shit country sometimes. Get a job within 30 days. This isn't fucking washing the dishes, man. This is a real... It's so insulting. Like... And that's on top of, like, the bullshit you go through to become a citizen. God help you if you want to be a citizen. It's just unbelievable. Mexico? Is immigration a pain in the ass in Mexico? Alright, so for the sake of the chat and YouTubers, I realize now that when this character flips over, I have these moments when I need somebody to be able to stand on them. So I need something more substantial for the feet. I need to start thinking about what I'm going to do there. Like, it can't just be feet like this. There has to be some element in the middle. As much as I love this stand situation, it can't go like... This can't continue. I have a couple ideas. Is that a space pod? No, it's shit, does it look like a space pod? That's awful. So this is a game about, well, this is a 3D puzzle game. Sorry, it's too early in the morning to start describing video games. Or you're one of these little puzzle boxes, and you're rolling around in the world, and your goal is to try to figure out how you get to the end location. Right? And so you kind of just progress through these puzzles. This one's fun because people tend to get stuck here a lot, and for me I thought it was insanely easy. People are like, but how? It's really easy. Anyway, this is the new character. I'm just working on the drummer. The other ones that already exist are... this is the accordion. I was working on her before. I still have to do a little more work here. I'm obviously very early in development. But she's got her own little set of puzzles. And then the trombone, I think, is starting to look really sad because he's got some really old art and he just looks boring compared to the others. But this is the trombone. This is my little puzzle game, Oliver. Thanks, man. I'm glad you like it. What am I doing now? Yeah, I gotta figure out. There's parts later on that I'm not gonna show right now, but where they like stand on each other and they push each other around. And so there's a lot of certain design constraints. Like, in order for people to feel the grid, I need each element to feel like it belongs in a separate grid tile, so you can kind of sense the grid, because it's a grid-based puzzle game. And other characters can stand up on the body of the character, so this needs to feel a little more fleshed out. Like, somebody could stand on this side, or stand on this side, or stand on this side. This one being the weakest right now. I need to make him feel more cubular. I think all I really need to do... We're taking some liberties here, but maybe instead of this middle bit, no, I do want the middle bit. I don't know what I'm gonna do here yet. Alright, have fun, Oliver. I'll see you later, man. Hey, Javas. Good morning, man. It's a chill Monday morning. I mean, now it can't fold up. Maybe it can. What if the shape is something like... Yeah, I think there's potential here. I'm using the Unreal Engine. I'm a huge fan of it. I could go on forever about visual scripting. Does that look like weirdly mechanical? Gotta admit, I don't like it at all. This whole stand might need to be rethought. Yep, the sketchy lines for a lot of the things, like sometimes it's just drawn on there. For this character though, oftentimes I have planes, because I want the lines to kind of overshoot the character a bit. This is kind of like this character in game. It's got kind of like a sketchy look to it. I want the lines to kind of overshoot in different places. I think it's a really easy art style to make it look good. Obviously, you can be a bit messy with it and fast and loose, and it's fine. Just kind of what I'm going for here. Mary, welcome to the chat, Indie Respawn. Sorry, I'm getting messages somewhere, and I don't know where. Slack. Man, fucking gazillion. What happened? I didn't, I said I didn't like it. I changed it over to something more like this for so many reasons. One of the reasons is you need to be able to stand on this side. So I'm actually probably going to make this a bit bigger, because you keep in mind, like, he has to be able to fall over, and it has to realistically look like he's balancing on his back. Also, somebody else needs to be able to step up on him. And the fedora just wasn't meeting the design goals. Like the circular fedora. So I moved it back towards something a little more cubish. I wouldn't say I'm in love with it. I'm still picking at it, man. I have the same problem on the bottom here. I need somebody able to stand on the bottom. I forgot, and I made a character where that wasn't taken into account. Now I'm paying for it. Thanks, Javis. Did you see in game yet? Oh, wait, sorry. I'm starting to learn UE4. What are some good resources I should check out? I know basic camera stuff and importing. I think my issue lies with the blueprint system. I'm not a programmer and it's a one-man operation. Okay, so I feel like there's a lot to unpack there. I take it you have a game you want to make. There's a game in your head that you really, really want to make, right? And you're just trying to find the quickest way from nothing to making that game? If I had to guess. Okay. This is great, actually. You have a goal. And right now you're a bit scared because you're very early. You want to at least be able to gray box it out. Is this like how fucked do you think you are? I use the Unreal Engine if you're talking to me. It sounds like Indy is too if he's trying to learn UE4. So, what kind of game is it? Have you made anything like this at all before? Are you just jumping into the deep end? Just confusion. About what exactly? Because, I mean, if you have a goal where you're like, I know I want to make this game, then it's great because all of your decisions are, you wake up in the day and you're like, okay, what gets me closer to having made this game? And then it's not a matter of what to do, it's a matter of how to do it. And there's so many resources out there to figure out how to do it, right? At that point, rather than look for, here is the thing that teaches me Unreal, here's the thing that teaches me Blueprint, I would look for I would start by just like, I want the camera to do X. Okay, Google it. How do I get the camera to do X? And then you're focusing on smaller problems. And only when you reach a point where you've dabbled a bit, that's when you go back and you kind of go, okay, I've set up a player controller. It's really weird. Shit's all super buggy. How do other people do this? And then you go get a book on player controllers or whatever, and you learn what other people do from a more high-level standpoint. But I personally generally start with much lower-level stuff. I just start by doing and Googling and kind of like getting it figured out. And so, I mean, there's a lot of amazing YouTube videos out there that'll help you out. The confusion would be like how to mess with the control systems like movement. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're talking about the player pawn, I threw away all that stuff here, but for like a default player pawn, this is called player pawn, but it doesn't derive from the player pawn. There should be a component called the movement component. If you're deriving from like the Unreal player pawn, the movement component will have what you need. There's a lot of stuff in there that's like really kludgy, but you won't get to that until... and they cleaned up a lot of it. Like, in UE3, I think everything had a flag for is swimming or some shit. Like, every actor in the game. Like, for some reason, there was a swimming flag on, like, a cup, and everything in the engine is an actor. It was bizarre. UE4 really, they went back and they cleaned up a lot of stuff. It's a lot better. Everything kind of makes sense now. At least it makes sense to me. I might be... I spent so long in UE3 that I look at UE4 as this fucking godsend. I love this engine so much, man. It's so good. We got into a huge debate at work about some of this stuff. Like, so Epic's real business is that they make the Unreal Engine, but they really only make features for the Unreal Engine, and they only fix things that are impacting their games at Epic. They treat themselves like a studio that makes games more than a studio that makes engines, in some ways. Like, all their features are very focused on the games they're making internally. I think that's a good thing. I think that just making features that some client will use in their game is dangerous. It lacks the artistry and the battle testedness of something that's like, how do I explain it? This is why I want to talk it through. I'm not good at explaining things. In theory, all you need is theory, but in practice, you run into some really interesting problems. I like that most of their features are actually features they made because they are currently using them in a game. I think that makes their engine stronger. I also think every now and then they deviate from that and they add some feature that's not actually in their games, and it's always crap. Whereas Unity is very different, right? Unity is meant to be this infrastructure for other people to build games on. Unity internally doesn't make video games. It's not their primary focus. I mean, at this point, they're both too big to fail, so it doesn't really matter, but I like Epic's approach more. Start small in my work and work your way up to the bigger stuff. Yeah. I mean, so you have an idea in your mind about what you want this game to be. I don't know where you are. Okay, I think the thing that gets me is if I have a custom character rig with my own naming conventions, and I have an FBX file with mocap data, applying that data to the custom rig scares me. I'm thinking I should stick with the art rigging system and then use that for all of my animations. I'm not trying to do it the easy, since that doesn't exist in game dev. Just trying to find what will be the most efficient and simplest way for me to figure it out. Okay. So, in your head, you're debating having a custom character rig versus using art. There's advantages to using art. I mean, does it matter for your game design? Like, for your game design, do you need to have a custom character? Is it important? And is your custom character a humanoid? If so, there's very little difference between a lot of the humanoid rigs. I'm a rigger with my own custom rigging system that I care about very deeply and I'm very passionate about. I wouldn't recommend anybody today start off by making that. I made it because back when I started a decade ago, it didn't exist. And I know art is pretty young as a tool set, so I won't be switching to it, but I recommend other people do it. There's no sense in building up proprietary knowledge in something that's going to be obsolete within a couple years. I think if you have a humanoid and you're using art, there's a lot of advantages to that as well, because what art does is it creates their default, it creates the default rig that Epic uses. And so what you can do is there's marketplace animations you can buy for it. There's marketplace animation blueprints you can buy for it. There's anything, you can retarget any animation very easily that Epic has produced onto your rig. It'll bootstrap you very quickly. Yes, it'll make your game look more generic, but it depends on what you're going for. I don't know if you're an animator or what your background is. I don't know if you care if your game looks generic or not. It entirely depends on what you care about. You kind of gotta pick what is special about your game design and hone in on that. What does your game need? What are you making? You know what I mean? And if you're making a humanoid, and art is the easiest way to get from 0 to having a humanoid character running around, then fucking use art. Unless you really want to build up some proprietary knowledge in rigging for some other reason. Like, it interests you or something. Because it's interesting. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. I love rigging. It's what I did for a living for many years. Hey, May, good morning. And hey, Chris. Slight. What is up? C Money. I fucking love rigging. And I didn't mean to say rigging will be an obsolete skill within a couple years. I strongly don't believe that at all. I just think as we all become more specialized, you pick your battles. I'll tell you, my characters will always have uniqueness to them. Specifically so that I can use the fact that I am a baller-ass rigger. That's another thing to consider when you're making a game. You should, I mean, I'm obviously not making a game that requires a lot of animation, but that's because I animate all day at work. If you're not like me, a good thing to consider is what is it that makes you unique? What is your skill set? What is the skill you have that other people do not have? And how can you use that? Put yourself into your work. Or use, what is it? Forrest would say we all have an unfair advantage. A thing that we are better at than other people. I don't like that thing. It's gone. Alright, I don't think so. Humanoid. Maybe I'm just overthinking everything. I'm a character artist. Okay. The game I'm wanting to do is a third-person arena shooter. Which is good, because that way you don't have to do a lot of environments, and it's very character-heavy. Third person, too, so again, very character-heavy. Want to have more focus on traps and gadgets. Probably because you want to model them and stuff. I think for me it's the learning aspect of doing it all by hand and not relying on other tools, but maybe that's a mindset I need to break. A character modeler that gets into rigging is not a bad thing. I think all character modelers should experience skinning their own characters at a minimum. So I'm glad that you give the opportunity to skin your character to art or to have some other rig. You're debating not just rigging but animating. It is a lot to take on. Are you comfortable with the idea that this might be something you do for fun and never ships? Or would that break your heart? Because if you take on modeling and rigging and animating, if rigging interests you a lot, then there's nothing to think about here, man. Just do it. You already know what you want to do. I mean, are you trying to get money out of this project? Do you need it to get funded? Is there some kind of rush? Or are you doing this because it's what you love? If you're doing it because it's what you love, then do what you want to do. Yeah, fucking rig it, man. Rigging is so much fun. I totally understand. Oh yeah, things get cut all the time. That's true too, for sure. The advice is flowing. Oh. It doesn't take much for me to start giving my opinion about shit. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, let's pick a fight with somebody today. Let me tell people what they should be doing. It's probably a personality flaw. Oh, I see. So you were looking for resources because you're like, I want a rig. More opinions, please. What do you want to add? Give me a subject, daggers. I'll go there. Right now I'm really opinionated and I'm trying not to read the news about Gazillion because a lot of everyone I know for the most part from Gazillion's gone. I left there many, many years ago, but it looks like they just they lost their contract with Marvel, and rather than ride it out, they decided to just cut everybody. No severance, no PTO. The day before Thanksgiving. The entire staff of Marvel Heroes was just given the boot. And I've been kind of like heads down in this stuff and not reading the news and shit, so I missed it. An old friend of mine from Gazillion was actually in the chat a second ago. Or earlier this morning. And I understand this is a turbulent industry, and I don't know, I get it. I've been on both sides of that wall. It's not... I mean, I think Gazillion knew there was a very good likelihood they were going to lose that Marvel contract. I know it was a timed contract when I was there. Gazillion had the exclusive rights to make all MMOs with the Marvel IP for like something like a couple years. So they had to know that there was a possible termination date. And you can't just tell people that, because if you start banging the drums every time it looks like something bad might happen, when you're running a studio at all fucking times, it seems like you're about to collapse. At any given moment, you've got like 3 months possibly left. At least in my experience. And so if you freak out your people constantly with like, shit, you might not be a studio in 3 months, you'll never keep your people, and you'll make everybody crazy. And so you kind of gotta have I don't want to say a false confidence, but you gotta be confident. And you can't talk about the potential pitfalls, and then something like this happens where you lose the contract. And then you end up laying everybody off the day before Thanksgiving. I don't have a lot of love for Gazillion, but I don't have a lot of hate either. Hey Sniper, I'm doing good, man. How about scripting? Oh wait, let me see. I heard from a buddy of mine that Behavior Santiago got shuttered. Yeah, nobody deserves to lose their job right before a holiday, because it always happens this way. Q4 is when all the layoffs happen. So it's every year. It's pink slips for Christmas in this industry. Like, every year. It sucks. But it's real life. I'm not really thinking. I'm just doing this while I talk. So. I'm not thinking deeply about this character at all. For the people on YouTube who are watching me just goof off. I never miss all of your opinions. Okay. You want my opinion on scripting? What exactly about scripting? I think when you're... I personally get really passionate about my workflows whenever I'm doing anything. And I spend a great deal of my career like improving the workflow of animators and other people and writing tools for people. I think Python's great. I like scripting. There's not really much to say there. I think visual scripting in Unreal is fantastic. I think this is an incredible achievement what they've done here. I'm excited for the future. I think a lot of you go in when I have the hashtag programming, you tend to get a different crew in here, and they tend to be all oh yeah, Chris Slade from the podcast is in the chat. And hey Thomas. Is it something riggers should know? Oh, absolutely, yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's still things in Maya that you can't, as far as I know, easily do without scripting. For instance, just here. say I have a sphere. So you know how like a node will have a DAG shape? There's the DAG node and then there's the shape node. So this, the DAG has like, what is the translate, what is the rotate, what is the scale? Underneath that is the shape node, which is just where are the verts relative to the origin. If you ever want to parent a shape node to a different DAG node, you can't do it without writing parent shape relative. I don't think there's a really convenient way to parent a shape node. If you just try to select this and then, like if you just try to select the shape and then parent it with P, it'll parent the DAG by default. There's just a million things like that that are just, you have to know them. You have to be able to script a bit. What languages would I recommend? I mean, I've never... You won't get to choose. You will decide that you want to do something, and there will be whatever language the people involved have decided to use for the API. In Maya, it'll be Python, unless you're like... I don't know why you would ever use Mel. It's terrible, and not really well supported anymore. If you're in Maya, you'll be using Python. Which is great, because Python's the best. Python, you can not just use their scripting layer, you can get into the API with it, you can do all kinds of shit. Yeah. I mean, have I ever showed off my tools to you guys? I still have like a... Oh, what the fuck am I doing? What are you under? Is there some kind of... parented under something? I'll actually save the tool stuff. I should make a YouTube video properly about that. I started a series on it and then I was like, some people seemed interested. The YouTube video where I was talking about my tools, I got a couple, like, got some views on it, but I don't know how interested people actually are. What's the deal here? What are we doing here? Yeah. Python is really good. What language should I start with? Oh, fuck, I don't know, man. That's a complicated question. I think when I was in high school I had to use Lua for something. I think I used Java at some point for something. I used to make websites for fun back in the day. I remember... God, I haven't done it forever. Like HTML, SSI stuff back in the day. And then I went to college and I used Mel for a while in Maya. Until they, at Maya 8.5, they introduced Python and I switched over. I'm glad you like those, Thomas. That's cool. The locomotion ones? Yeah. I was thinking, I was like feeling really guilty because there's a bunch of... I have a Trello board with a bunch of more locomotion videos I want to do. Specifically focused on other topics. I think I'm gonna... there's nothing... there's like no incentive to do that and I'm super into this right now. So I think what I'm gonna do is I am gonna make those videos and I'm gonna get them... The fire under my ass is gonna be GDC. I'm gonna give a tips and tricks talk for 5 minutes at GDC. That's going to comprise probably 3 ideas, and then I'm going to break them down later into 3 YouTube videos and release them on both. Yeah, Chili Dogs is Chris Slight. Hey, I'm glad. Yeah, I think I honestly think a lot of the way our approach in general to animation trees and animation setup is weak in this industry. I could soapbox about that on a moment's notice at any time. I'm almost like, I don't even. Oh god, where do I even start? I think on a fundamental level, okay. I think in this industry we're very focused. If you talk to an animation programmer or various people who work in tech animation, everybody is very, very focused on this idea that of this bright, beautiful future where you have like physical animation, motion matching, seriously large amounts of mocap data. I think in general in this industry we've focused for a long time on making sexy new physical animation kind of stuff. And you're and that stuff is super cool and I love it. I think a lot of it's interesting and it's sophisticated and I'm really into it. And if you ever want to see like the gods of this, you can always look at FIFA, the stuff they do to get physical motion and blend between physics and animation, and or if you look at Assassin's Creed, the stuff they're doing with motion matching in Assassin's Creed is fantastic. It's cool. I'm into it. I think the problem comes from the rest of the industry looking at that and making like weak tea versions of it. I think on a fundamental level we use blending too much. I think on a fundamental level we use the way we use an animation is a sequence of poses that you progress between based on an input variable. And that input variable is usually the game tick. But it doesn't have to be. And most of the time I don't think it should be. I think, for instance, if you have a game, if you are making a character that rotates, this is like the biggest pet peeve of mine, is a character rotating in place. People will make fucking 50 goddamn animations about like, this is the character rotating 25 degrees to the right. This is the character rotating 90 degrees to the right. This is the character rotating with 3 steps 180 degrees. This is the character rotating with 3 steps 90 degrees and blending between them to try to get like to try to get this thing where the feet line up. And that's ridiculous for an indie. Like an indie, a person who's smaller cannot do that. That's too many fucking animations. It's absurd. And there is a much easier way to do this, which is just you take and you make 2 animations. One where the character rotates completely around to the right, and one where the character rotates completely around to the left. And then you query the world space orientation of the character, and you drive the percentage through the animation based on the world space orientation of the character. And if you do this, it doesn't matter what speed the character moves at. Nothing matters. The character will always have their foot phasing in the correct place every time they orient. This is especially true in like grid-based games. I think shit, am I losing everybody? I could go on about this. I think in general we need to use variables and parameters more to drive animations. I think in general, like, I can, what's a good example? Okay, Jonathan Blow is doing a Sokoban game. It's a grid-based game where you're moving between different grid points. And what you'll do is you'll start with like a walk start animation, and then you'll play a looping animation, and then you reach your target and you play an outro animation that takes you back to idle, which is something that somebody in AAA would do, but which, if you honestly sit down and think about it, because your blend from your walking animation to your outro animation will most likely have some sort of, because you're blending these two animations, you're going to get some sort of foot sliding there, right? You don't need to have any foot sliding at all. If all you did was take the walk cycle and set it to be based on the world space position of the character. If you say that, if you take a grid where every, in X and in Y, you divide by 100 and you determine where, based on the position of the character, how far you are outside of the grid, and you choose the frame of the animation or the percentage through the animation that you're playing based on your world space location, you will always know exactly where the feet are based on where the character is in the world. This is the kind of thing I need a video to explain. It's not the kind of thing that's easy to talk about. Like, it's just the kind of thing that needs a fucking YouTube video. I need to make YouTube videos again. It's a visual medium. Yeah, I think the first Assassin's Creed was like almost a tech demo. Alright, those two examples, and probably a couple more. I think the other one I'm gonna do for the GDC talk is, the other one I'm gonna do for the GDC talk is, in general, I think you can base the frame of your... Oh my god, jumps are another thing that drive me crazy. So most people animate a jump up, and then they'll blend from that into a falling animation, and then they fall X amount, and then at some point they realize they've hit the ground, and then they play an animation that is the landing animation. When in reality, you could make something that looks a lot more slick and a lot better and a lot easier and more physical very easily by just querying how far you are off the ground and driving your frame of your animation based on that. So if your character is moving down, you can always just raycast down and be like, I am currently decelerating. Also, I am 50 units off the ground, so I should be here in the landing animation. And you can kind of like have a much smoother landing animation based on something like that. Hey Husky, what's up, man? Because unfortunately, because of the way we're animating, a lot of the stuff we do is very reactionary. It's like, oh, the character stops suddenly. Shit! You know, quickly blend into this, and that results, quickly blend into your landing animation, and it just doesn't look as good as it possibly could. I think there is a world where there is almost no blending at all for basic locomotion, where it's almost just switching. I think there's a world where blend trees in general don't look the way they look right now, where it's mostly selecting animations versus blending. I think there's a lot of things like this. Yeah, I'll do a GDC talk. I'm doing 2 talks at GDC this year. There's the one this one is tips and tricks, which I have not started yet. I've just been thinking about it. That's why it's really easy. Like, I have a couple months to like form my thoughts on this and put it into words and shit. I'll probably give exactly this talk at GDC. So, heads up, this is a fucking sneak peek. Yeah, and I'm in the 2 best ones. So I'm in tips and tricks and I'm in the micro talks, which is great. I have 2 5-minute talks. Yeah. I love the micro talks. I can't tell you the theme. So I do the funny talk each year. And last year's was hard because I was like, hey Gwen, hey, you in again? Yeah, that's great. We love you. You do the best. You're so funny. Get up on stage, do a funny talk. The theme this year is community. And so I had to get up on stage. Community, I don't know if you've realized this, it's a really fucking loaded topic. Like, game communities are terrible. And it's hard to just roast game communities without incurring a significant amount of backlash. So I walked a really fine line last year. And this year, the topic is even harder. like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do yet. It's gonna be interesting. The Bound talk. No, I didn't. That's Bound is the game with the ballerina, right? Shit. I didn't know they did a talk. I will say the talk on what is it? The underwater game was fantastic. Somebody in the chat recommended that one. What the fuck was I doing? The guy who played like 2000. Yeah. Yeah, you get that a lot in this industry. I don't know. I mean, I carefully chose which things I showed too. Like, I was like, okay, the thing is, if somebody sends you something really, really cruel, especially as a chick, and then you bring it up later, you are guaranteeing that more people will do that, and they'll probably come back and do it. So you never want to give voice to the people who are actually harshly critical. So it's a lot easier for me to be like, look at what some other asshole did to some other asshole, than it is to be like, look at this, look at what they fucking say to me sometimes. You don't want to talk, you don't want to give voice to those people. Actually, I've been pretty lucky. I don't incur a lot of wrath. I am not famous enough to get a lot of wrath, so we get, generally the game gets some like, you're shit and you should feel bad, which is like, whatever. I can deal with that. I don't get like the death threats that I've heard about. Probably shouldn't say that on the internet. I'm fucking asking for it. Yeah, the way the anime Abzu, yeah. Yeah, that was a cool talk. I was into that. The Abzu talk, man. How hard is it to represent accordions? Yeah. You know, maybe I should have picked a game. I was worried if I did a game at home that involved a lot of interesting animation stuff, I would burn out real hard. And I maintain that I'm glad I didn't. Working on this has been insanely fun. I love this game. I've let the scope get out of control. I was supposed to make something I could finish quickly. That's not gonna happen. But whatever, I think we all knew that was gonna happen. But yeah, it's probably a good thing I didn't do something with a lot of animation. There is a very small chance that come next year this stream becomes me streaming actual animation stuff that I'm working on at work. At which point, that would be great. Then you can actually see some of this crap I was just talking about. Oh yeah, it's free on Twitch Prime. Yeah, I wish. One of the more interesting things about being a publisher or working with a publisher is I had no fucking idea that was going to happen. I mean, I met the Twitch Prime people and I put them in contact with their publisher, and I was like, "Hey, Twitch Prime is interested in working with us. Can you guys handle this?" And they're like, "Sure." And I knew like things were happening at some point, but like that it happened and we were going to be on Twitch Prime and when we were going to be on Twitch Prime, I had no fucking idea. I found out because I logged into Twitch one day and I was like, holy shit, my game is free. It was pretty weird. And that kind of just happens. I don't even think that's a downside. In all seriousness, that's borderline an upside. Like, it's nice to not have to worry about that shit. So, our publisher does everything, and we don't have to think anymore about that stuff, and it's great. Oh god, I just spent forever doing this. Okay, oops, sorry, I've missed some stuff here. I worked on a game on Steam called Full Bore. It's a game homage to Metroid Castlevania with a boar character. One of my favorite feedback comments was something along the lines of, "This game would have been cooler if the main character was a wizard instead of a boar." Okay. The entire game is centered around boars and animals. Oh god. Yeah. Yeah, you get that, yeah, that's... Sometimes, especially when you're in development for a game, the way people get excited about it is by saying, "Oh my god, I love this game, I'm really into it." And that comes out as, "Have you considered doing this? Have you considered doing this?" And in their mind, they're helping you, but in reality, it's like, no, Jesus Christ, man. Have you seen Curve's new social guy? He does a character who is a pretentious indie dev. No. I have basically no contact with our publisher. Unless something is wrong or it's time to get paid. It's the ideal situation. I look at contacting the publisher like contacting the bank. It's like, okay, something's happened. Which is bad. They've been a great publisher, to be fair. I mean, they're the only reason we're on the Switch. Which I could go off about, like, oh, it's so cool that we're on the Switch. That never would have happened if we, like... It's great. We did nothing for that. Like, literally fucking nothing. Our publisher handled it. An Epic basically added stuff to their engine to make it really easy for anybody to port the game. From what I looked at the budget, porting the game was like not that much money at all. It's just like free money for us. It was great. Not a lot, but like we did okay. This did not get exported. Oh, of course not. hate it, but it's gotta be there. I need some element in the middle so that one of the characters step up on you. Makes sense. Oh, I hate it though. Oh, I hate it so much. Oh, this is not good. I also don't know how I feel about the tilted hat anymore. Okay, well, several things need to happen here. Sorry, no, I started ignoring the chat. I'll be back in a sec. Let me just figure out what I'm doing with my life here. Because this can't continue. What if it was like... No. Alright, what's been going on in the chat here? Okay. I am living the life. You considered making a I don't know, Space Viking with a magical armored unicorn sounds pretty great. Sounds like you're indie for life here, man. Later, Thomas. I'm glad you like it, Husky. Did somebody subscribe today? Shit. Hi, Husky. Thanks, man. I tend to miss these things. Alright, yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for subscribing. I don't know how to use Twitch either. I don't really know. I know you're supposed to get stuff for subscribing. I need to give you guys... Shit. If I don't write that down, I'll never do it. I need to give you guys... You get like an icon or something? Yeah, we had this conversation at some point. I need to give you guys like a thing. A little picture. Maybe it'll be a little orange robot. Or that is kind of what I do, right? Little orange robots. Twitch alerts. It's called an emote. Alright, yeah, I'm sorry. Emotes, obvious. Emojis? It's an emoji. I think you're wrong, right, guys? Everybody else back me up. It's not an emote, it's an emoji. Right? Or is it both? I don't know. Maybe they're the same thing. Emotes are what you used to call it, like... I think that's what you use when your characters are dancing and stuff in MMOs. I'm pretending like I know shit about the internet. It is emote. Emojis are only the phone. Fuck. I am so old. When did this happen? When did I lose track of things? Alright, I was wrong. You're right. My bad. I'll get it. You gonna teach me? Fuck, what do I need to learn? I finally got out of that. For a while there, I was just addicted to Twitter, and it's over. I had to remove it from my host file, but I managed to just not go there for several days. It's been a good life. I have to admit, I've finally been productive again. I think another part of it is I've kind of like gotten into this. As soon as you have something you're into, it's a lot easier to stop wasting time. But man, Twitter... That website's a fucking trap. Facebook never did that to me. It was never like, I never found myself accidentally typing in Facebook. Like, I never zoned out and realized an hour's passed and I've been on Facebook. But Twitter somehow manages to do that. Something about the act of scrolling. Even if it's just with my mouse, just fucking, I lose it. I should probably never gamble. I might have a personality flaw. Twitter is a deep pit. I've discovered so many devs, animators in that thing. Had to look at myself in the mirror when... Yeah. Are animation curves in Unreal pretty much beta? What are you trying to do, Ninjin? It totally depends. They're very raw, because they're very cheap and they're used in a lot of different locations. I will say, the most frustrating thing in the world... I'm angling for a grant from Epic at some point here, so I'm supposed to, like, not talk shit. But, because to be fair, I love this engine. But yeah, this fucking pisses me off. Is this thing where you add a curve here, which I'm not gonna... The interface for this, when you add a curve to an animation, is, it's garbage. Like, it's just garbage. If you're talking about that, yeah, I don't know why it's such a pain to work with. It's an irritating interface. It's a powerful tool, but it's an irritating interface. I need to upgrade to 4.18, by the way, because they've added the ability to ragdoll specific things from within an animation state, and that's gonna... we have that at work. I'm gonna play with that tomorrow. I'm excited about that. That's gonna be a fucking game changer, man. What was I doing? Just realized I've been clicking shit in here and I have no idea. Oh yeah, I fucking hate this. I don't like the drum top. I like the idea that it's tilted. I think I'd like it more... I already kind of fucked with it, right? Yeah. I think I'd like it more... Okay, here's what I need to do. I'm gonna take some liberties. Ah. Angling for an Unreal Dev grant. I shouldn't say that out loud. It's true though. I want to see. I want to get some. It's more the press. They give Epic gives out dev grants every now and then. I don't know when their next call for one is going to be, but it'd be like, hey, I've been making a game live on Twitch. This is real meta because I'm admitting this on Twitch. So then I'm going to ask them for it, and then I'm probably going to tweet it at them with a clip of this. Hey, I'm making a game in Blueprint on Twitch. I don't think the animation curve thing is new. It's been around forever, Keyboard Oreos. It's been around since the beginning of Unreal 4. And, yeah, this is a type of puzzle game. And, there's a lot of cool things about it. For instance, if you add... Like, there's times when I'll add an attribute to the root bone of a character. And when you import an animation, it will actually import the curve into that curve panel. You can do a lot of stuff like that. He does look pretty cool. Anyway, what's down here? There's more questions. Is emoji... Okay, this is a real dumb question. I thought every application has their own emoji. Is there universal emoji? Oh, and the reason why I asked before about the curve thing is because there's another thing you can do, which is just create a curve. So you can just, like... Sometimes you want to... Sometimes, like... Okay, so... Here's a good example. When a character is rolling around, I'm lerping between 0 and 0.2. Yeah. It takes 0.2 seconds, a fifth of a second, for a character to move from one spot to another, right? But you'll see there's kind of like an ease in and an ease out. And the reason for that is just because I think... Let me find it. Just find all curves. Oh, fuck. Blueprint class? That's dumb. Vector curve. Should just be a float curve. Color curve. Oh god, where do I even put it? But I named it curve. Yeah, player movement curve. This is the float curve. So between 0 and 1, there's just this kind of ease in and ease out. All I do is I input a number between 0 and 1, and it kind of skews it slightly. So when it's 0% of the way through the motion, it's here. When it's like 0.25% of the way through the motion, I'm just like, okay, take that. Here. Detect if we should use the X form. get the float value, which just takes that curve. Take the percentage you are through the motion, map it to the curve, give me an output, and that's the remapped version, and that's what gives me the kind of ease in and ease out. So anyway, yeah, there's a whole other curve editor, which is here, which I think is what they base their, I think the code under the hood for this and the other thing are the same, but because this is much bigger, the controls kind of make sense here, whereas on the, when you're working in this like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to delete this. Temp. This might exist forever. When you're working in this goddamn window, it's like I can't even like do anything. It's such a pain in the ass, especially when it's tiny. But yeah, the reason it is the way it is because I think it's derived from that other tool. That was a huge aside. Emoji has a broad spectrum. Technically, you can call Twitch emotes emoji, but Twitch calls their stuff emotes. Emoji was the term used for... Okay. Interesting. Hey, attack button, what's up, man? I learned so much today. Thank you, Keyboard Oreos. Keeping me current. I am actually, for somebody who's very involved in technology, there's times when I fall extremely far behind the curve, especially things like phones. I have a aversion to keeping up with phone technology. I don't like doing it. It feels like rampant consumerism to me. Upgrading your fucking phone every year. But I am evolving my opinion on the subject. Alright, I think I've futzed with things enough. It's time to look at it again in Engine. They are knocking down buildings all around me right now. It's like I get to wake up at 8 a.m. to the sounds of construction every morning. sorry. To get your game looking like that, to use post-processing. Yes, I do. I'll show you that in just a second. Let me look at this character real quick. I like the drum more like this. I think I'll tilt it over back again. I think it does look cool if you skew it a little, even if it's not super realistic. Alright, that's less terrible. This looks too complicated. I need to simplify this. Maybe I'll get rid of this metal pipe in the middle. It's just, I'm losing silhouette. I'm losing... It just doesn't look good. It's hard to parse. Not sure what to do about that. Guess I could make this element black. Yeah, that might make it easier to parse. Okay. If you want to see the game without post-processing, it looks completely different. It's actually almost entirely gray box. So, or gray box. Give me a minute. Let me pull up. Where's opening? Okay, so like here's the opening area. This is what you were looking at before. If I get rid of the post process. It looks like this. So, and the light is blooming. I'm sorry. The light is obviously a little too intense as soon as you do get rid of it for reasons that it's complicated to get into. I could, if I, here, unlit. There. This is what the game looks like unlit with no post-processing. This area is the blue area. This area is the brown area. The post-process adds a gradient that goes from blue to purple, from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen, among other things. So here's with the post-process material. See how when I move around, the purple is still pegged to the bottom of the screen and the blue to the top? I'm doing several things. I'm determining the depth, and I'm blending the post-process to be more extreme when you go further away. That way it completely colors the background. That way I can leave the background just variants of black, white, gray. It obviously also affects the foreground. The lighting is a combination of yellow and blue. So when you add the lighting, you do get a little bit of color, but there's very little color in the lighting. Almost all of the color comes in the post-process. The character shader is yellow, and the things with the character shader I put in, I toggle custom render depth on the mesh, and that takes it out of the depth buffer and into a separate depth buffer. And that way I can kind of cut that out so that the post-process doesn't affect my yellows. That way I can have like this purple-blue dramatic background, have all that stuff tied together, and also have like, have it not affect my yellows. Other things I do, I don't use any of the shadow in game. That's for gameplay reasons. There's no shadow, this is just like a decal. I need it to be a decal so that I can show the player when you fall to the left, you'll fall here or here, based on how high up you are. I actually need to darken that. That's one of my notes. Is to make the shadow more dramatic and interesting. Yeah, let me check chat. Insomnia, I'm sorry, attack button. I know how that feels. It's shit. Yeah, this is a great stream if you want to learn about like watch an idiot try to make a GIF. This is a great stream for that. When I say post-process, I'm talking about a post-process material. So, yes, there's a post-process. I'm actually not doing... let me show you what I've... what did I do? You can show modified properties. I'm actually not modifying anything at all. Like, in the actual post. You could do it here. You can mess with the contrast and the gamma and all that stuff. The thing that I did was add a post-proc material. If you take a post-process and you make it unbound, it'll apply to the entire game whenever it's loaded. And then you can throw on a post-proc material, and that lets you do things based in screen space. So like, I want the top of the screen to be blue and the bottom to be purple. I can do that in a material. You want to see the material? I don't give a shit. Here's the material. You can screenshot that if you want. This is some shit I was playing around with that didn't pan out. I am not a person to follow if you want to learn about materials. I don't know anything about materials. I like to fuck with them to get things to happen. Through trial and error. But there's like tech artists that are good at materials. You shouldn't look at this. You should go do what they do. I've done some things. There's a node called HLSL that you can just like copy shit from the internet and put it in. That's high risk. You will, you can make as far as, basically you can introduce some pretty serious performance problems, using materials, if you don't know what you're doing, which I have done. So in hindsight, maybe don't look at that. I might phone a friend later if I'm having trouble with that material. Don't do what I do. Anyway. Good morning, Near. I'm just now catching up on chat. I'm sorry. Shit. Assembly. Thanks, man. Cool. That's awesome. Maybe just make I know. I was thinking about that keyboard Oreo, and then it would look like a stand that, like a... If I just made it a stand like you would put a microphone on. Fuck. I might have to. After all this. I really liked this shape. Felt like a drum stand before. But I could make it like a mic stand. That would work better for the game. I'll think on it. Let me keep pushing on this. I want to try to make this work. I like it. I do like it. I could get rid of... I don't know. I like it from an... In my head, I know how I was going to animate this, and it was going to be adorable. But... Because it can, like, fold up and stuff. Like, there's so much potential here. Whereas if you just make it a straight beam, I mean, it's... Like the lamp and the Pixar logo, it's cool, you can do it, but it's like, I could do so much more. Masters of State. I wish I was cool enough to make a cool shader that did that. No, I wanted the outlines to stick out over the character, so it's literally just transparent planes, which also might bite me in the ass later. I'm not sure how fucked I am. I have a lot of transparent planes in this game. I should profile that. I have not done that. Yeah, I haven't done that. That's the end of that statement. Period. And I should. Yeah, I'll put this one up on YouTube. Master of State. The posts... These are always saved to Twitch for 2 weeks. And I'm gonna put this one up on YouTube, I think. I thought I would edit them to make sense for the sake of the YouTube community, but then I was like, I don't know, fuck the YouTube community, I guess. It's a lot of work to edit these videos. They're very long. And, I should do something so that the YouTube community can see what you guys are saying, because it sounds like I'm talking to myself like a fucking maniac on YouTube. Keyboard Oreos, the black round thing has to be on the ground. That's kind of the whole point. Like, the whole point is that, I can't show you right now because everything's hella broken, but like, these characters can stand up on each other. So another character can roll up onto that spot. So there needs to be something there for them to hit. It's just a design limitation. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Is that? You know? Yeah. Thank you. I'll start on that right now. I agree. That's what I had in my head, but I wasn't moving towards it for some reason. Like in my head I thought I was moving towards that, but I wasn't. Make the green screen of text from chat on your actual screen so that when you put it on YouTube they can see the chat as well. Is there an easy way to do that midstream? I probably have to figure that out. You know, I have a podcast regularly with a guy that streams for a living. So Chris Light can just help. And I've promised him 1,000,000 times I would set up XSplit. Because he works for XSplit. So I should, you know, do that. I'll probably do that. Oh, I can't do it in OBS. Text widget. There's text GDI. Is it really that easy? Where do I set that it should come from the channel? Because it has an input for text. Arial. See, you know, you think these things are easy, but I don't know if I could handle having Arial. And now I've got to look through fonts. This is a whole thing. Okay, I'm gonna not do that. I'm just gonna leave it default. Just gonna hit the default button. It's gonna kill me. Pop out to chat. Yeah. For fuck's sake. Oh, this is the worst thing ever. Why is it so irritating to work with? How does it know to get the feed from Twitch? Alright, hold on. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, I guess that's easy. I could just literally capture. Hey, Javix. This is now a stream about streaming. We've hit max meta. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this text thing. I'm gonna... Ah! Video... Oh, I guess I need to leave that up, huh? That is the point. So... Can I make it smaller? Can I crop this? Holy shit, I'm in the fucking Matrix. Oh god, sorry guys. I didn't mean to freak you out. Okay, let's read the directions. I have chat somewhere, blah blah blah, capture. Add window capture. Oh, select subregion. Okay, subregion. That seems reasonable. Where is subregion? It's gone. Okay, so this is obsolete. Oh. Wait, this is way easier than I'm making it. Pop out. Whatever. There. Is this gonna be... Can I get that to always be on top? Chris Light is dying. Alright guys, look. Here's what's gonna happen. Chris Light and I are going to talk off stream because I've only got like another half hour before I have to go anyway. So I need to get this done. We're going to pop this back in and we're going to pretend that Oh god, I don't know how to pop it back in. Oh god, it's just here now. Okay, whatever. Why do I keep losing it? This doesn't seem good. Like, why can't I look into the history of what you guys have said? Okay, yeah, sorry. Look, let's not. I'll figure this out. I shouldn't waste your time. Let's do. I need to get this done because I thought. I can't look at the. Who said it, but somebody had a good point. I forgot to put this metal bar in through here. I think that's the part that I'm missing that'll really make this all work. I think this is what I really need. I think. Just kind of like that shape more, and then I think I need to get rid of this. I think it's just too intense. Or at a minimum. Chris Light's killing him. Have a nice time at the pub, Chris. Sorry. Streamlabs. I'll look into it. I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay, so I want to keep this bar here because it gives me an excuse to have the bow tie, which is very important to me. Not a bow tie. The, what do you call it? The thing at the front of his body. That's definitely totally not a bow tie. I still feel like from far away this is gonna look like a mess. Maybe not. Maybe it won't, especially if I make these middle bits black. That might help. I don't know if I like that or not. I'm on the fence about the liking of that. I don't like the black. Oh, also because I apparently made everything matte black, which is real dumb. Okay. Cool. Give me my outline material and then give me what if this part? Nope, that's dumb. Alright, let's just see what this even looks like. Let's just check it out. I guess I don't hate it. Yeah, it's growing on me. That's actually dangerous. The more you look at something, the more you stop seeing its flaws. Alright, sorry, I haven't checked the chat in a while. Oh, because it's... Where is it? Jesus. Do I still work at Do Guy? No, I own a small studio in Boston called The Molasses Flood. I'm glad you like it, LKS Rickson. LKS Rickson. Okay, I'm really waffling on the fucking drum top again. I don't like that it's tilted. I like that it's tilted back. I don't like the tilt to the side, as jaunty as that is. Also, there's a reality that a player might land here. I feel like maybe I should make the... I don't know, guys. This gameplay is really getting in the way of my artistic expression. But we're probably gonna need to bulk up the front of the hat. Or something. Or make the bow tie massive so it looks like a player could land on the bow tie. Like how big? Like how ridiculous could we be with this before it's just a problem? That's pretty hard to justify. We're not doing this. Oh man, what if only one eye is showing? I mean, okay, so the eye thing. The accordion has technically 3 limbs. Associated have 3 lights. Technically, he has 1 limb that's going either way, right? So I could get away with 1 light. The trombone is gonna have 4, but I could go with like the trombone is 2, he has 1. You could change up the language for what the lights mean. And then he could have like, now he's like a cowboy. That's kind of cool. Is it like a cowboy or is it like an emo Spider-Man situation? I don't know. I'm not cool anymore. I'm too old. What do the kids think? Hey, Cobra Dactyl. What's up, man? Welcome. I'll keep it 2 eyes. Maybe. I'm having trouble not being in love with this. I think we have to do this. Sorry, I need to check my email real quick. I sent a build to Grover. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, he's too busy right now. Okay. That's fine. Getting an audio person involved in this game is going to be like a pretty big step for me. Because it's a game about musical instruments. So it's kind of like kind of a thing. Okay, maybe I went too far here. Definitely feel like this went too far in the weird direction. Can't be a cowboy. He is. Gotta keep it. He's a jazz band drummer. Gotta stay focused. Ninja and we're in Twitch right now. I don't think anybody here is cool. I wouldn't threaten anybody here with the accusation of being excessively cool. I frequently use Snapchat. I am so glad we didn't have that when I was in high school. Can you imagine? Like, I'm horrified for children today. Like, if the dumb shit I did in high school was just on the internet forever. Oh god. Must be such a trip. Like, when I was in high school, like, I'd go over to a friend's house. My parents were unable to contact me. Like, they could call the landline. We had cell phones when I was in high school. No, I'm sorry. We had caller ID. My parents were early adopters of caller ID. But you could go into the caller ID and have it look like a phone number was a different place. So, like, you could go over... I would program my boyfriend's house to come up as Devora, a friend of mine, in the caller ID. And then I would call home and I'd be like, yeah, I'm sleeping over at Devora's place. Like, it was really easy back then to just get away with whatever the fuck you wanted to, because you're, I don't know, kid. Now, like, they'll fucking track you on Google. Google knows where you are at all times. You can really harass a kid. Kids can't get away with shit anymore. Hey, why did this get up? No. You go down. company's doing really well, so yeah. Trying to remember, I was in Glastonbury and Google had no idea where the fuck I was. It showed up later. It gave me a map of. Somebody was like, "Hey, check out your Google Maps for where you were," and it just assumed I had like did some kind of tour of Europe, I guess, because it must have been roaming or something. And it's like, "Hey, I see you were in fucking all over England and Ireland." I was like, "Nah, definitely just camping in the one spot." It's not perfect. They'll get it perfect, and that's terrifying. I should probably be more worried about that kind of thing than I am. Okay, where are we right now? I should state of the state, check this out in game. Do I like the color scheme for the legs? You know, I don't hate it. This beam terminating halfway through does feel weird. I kind of think I should extend it again. See if I can get away with it now that I have this larger element. Alright, let's see what we look like. I hate it. I've totally lost. I don't like it. back is fine. I gotta stop fucking with the back. The back is perfect. This would be fine if it was higher, maybe. This is fine now. I don't know if I've just seen this enough that I'm like okay with it now. I think I'm kind of okay with the stand. Yeah, okay. Okay. You know what, before... Alright, I gotta go soon. So, let's just pull this up and then call it a stream. Then I'll talk with you guys again. Give me 1 second. Because I gotta go get a fucking haircut. These are the problems in my life. Here's a weird thing to soapbox about. Why do you have to have a relationship with the person who cuts your hair? Like, I don't know. Like, why do we... If you go to a hairdresser and then you change to a different hairdresser, they get really hurt. Like, they're really sad about that. It's a whole thing. It's like cheating on your hairdresser or some shit. I don't understand the world sometimes. I don't know why I hate that so much less. Like, the hint of having a second eye matters so much. I don't know why it does. He needs to have some kind of scratches or something on the front here. There's a lack of visual interest. I don't know. There's clearly more work to be done. I feel like we're... Like, I don't hate it. Like, we're definitely into something here. I still love the suspenders in the back. I don't have any narrative reason for them. Other than they look cool. I feel like I need to find a way to work that into, like, somehow his stand is being held together by the suspenders. Like, I should figure out something like that. I think that would make the look stronger. Like, if there was also a beam that went between these two. I should write a note to add that. Hold on. As soon as I get back, because I'm about to run late. Add suspenders. I mean, I think we're close. What else do I want to do? I need to add the outlines to the arms. Add outlines to arms. I I think it's time to figure out, well, obviously I need to add outlines to the drums. I want to actually iterate on this blinking light. I think it should blink to the beat. I think there should be some kind of like low-key music in the background at all times. Like, or just something that's like some kind of beat. I want them to be kind of like a soft glow. I want to use the same thing for this that I use for the street lights. So it's going to need to have some kind of like glowy effect, which might help with the hat, like having the glow shine out from underneath the hat. Might be cool. I think I might want to exaggerate the tension rods that are coming off of the drum into his head. Maybe that'll help it read more as a drum. What else? I'll think on that then. That's more of a stylistic decision. Alright, gents. I'm about to take off, so let's read the chat. If you go to our summer house local here in Sweden's east coast, the phone company assumes I'm in Finland. Interesting. Will the trombone have a booming tragic blare? Oh, of course it will. Like, literally everyone says that. And I think there's gotta be ones for the drum too, right? Like when you fall off, it's gotta be like ba-dum tss. Or they can heckle each other maybe. There's all kinds of fun things to happen there. I want to get an audio person's excited about this because I feel like there's a lot of cute audio cues we could have in this game. Yeah. This is not a very serious game. You cut your own hair? I dig it. I can't get away with that because like it's short now, so... but it's not short enough, you can just use like a buzz cut. Like, dudes get like the... I don't know, I let it get too long. Thanks for streaming some of your dev work, it's nice. No problem, Judge Not. Thanks for dropping by, man. I'm glad you guys had a good time. We got a nice little group here. Oh my god, some of the earlier streams were really rough too. There was a time when we were bugged out and we just talked about hiking for several hours. You guys put up with a lot of crap. Not too nice, Avra. Yeah, I forgot. You're the sassy one. Alright, thanks for dropping by, guys. I'm gonna take off. I've gotta run. I have a date with a hairdresser, apparently. I get to make small talk for the next hour while somebody slowly cuts my hair. Yeah. Alright. Get a lot done. Yerk's group, you're gonna link what you got done today later, next time I see you. Okay, for real, I gotta go. Bye.